Hey y'all, and welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at a chess game that I just played recently, which was very stupid, and yeah, we're just going to get into it. My opponent, I start off the game with the move d4, and my opponent goes d5, which is the most principled line, and I decided to play bishop to f4, the accelerated London system, because I like this opening, and I think it's pretty good. Knight f6, e3, e6, knight d2, and my opponent decides to play the move, after some thought, h6. And of course, as you can see, this is not good. This is already a very bad sign, and a sign to me that tells me that my opponent doesn't really know what he's doing in this opening, or at least maybe he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he really doesn't, because h6 is just a stupid move. It's a move that does absolutely nothing. It like not preparing g5 at all. Like, you're not going to play g5 in the London, and this is just not a very good move. Because really what black should be doing is playing c5 and developing the pieces, and not doing this. I go with the move knight gf3, and my opponent decides to double down on this by playing the move a6 as well. And as you can see, my advantage has already kind of skyrocketed, because although a6 in some positions here is a reasonable move, because a6 like stops the knight from going here in some positions, maybe the bishop wants to go here in some positions, but here, a6 is just a waste of time and allows me to do everything that I want, and I immediately am able to take control of the game with the move c4, jutting out a pawn at the center and saying that, okay, now I'm going to punish you for playing in this way, and I think that you're stupid. Exactly the words that I said to my opponent over the board. But yeah, it's c4, and I'm already actually doing quite well. And actually, in fact, I could probably just play bishop d3 here, but I thought c4 was kind of in line with what I wanted to do, so I go c4. My opponent goes c6, and it's already a +1 advantage for white. Now, how did this game end up with anything besides me just winning it immediately and having a good time? Well, we're going to get to that. I go rook c1. My opponent goes bishop to e7, and a little thing about this game that I wanted to talk about is the fact that before playing this game, I just played a couple blitz games, and I was playing really fast, and I was thinking really fast, and I wasn't really thinking properly. I wasn't thinking in a rapid sense. I was thinking in a blitz sense, right? So my play was a little bit stupid, and for the first like 10 or so moves, I didn't even realize I was playing a rapid game. I thought I was playing 3 minute, which is not good. I go a3 after some time, because I thought a3, okay, there's some lines where like the queen comes out to a5, and maybe I want to play b4 and expand, and a3 makes a little more sense than a6, because a3 there's actually ideas over there, and a6 there really isn't. My opponent castles. I go bishop to d3, and my opponent goes knight b d7. One other thing here, if bishop to d3 my opponent takes on c4, I'm going to take back with the knight, because this allows my knight to get up to the very nice square on e5, and I would be actually in a very pleasant position there, and probably positionally winning. Instead of that, knight b d7, castles, and knight h5, and we see the first actual moment of the game where I have to pause and actually think about what I'm supposed to do. I have a couple of options here. The main one is going bishop to g3 and just saying, okay, well, at the end of the day, after knight takes g3, h takes g3, I've solidified my center, life is good, and I don't think that the position is that bad. The other option, which is what I really enjoyed here and what I actually went for, is to put the bishop smack in the center and say, okay, what you can do, you can still trade your knight for my bishop, you can still grab the bishop pair, but after d takes e5, I thought, well, now this knight is actually in a mountain of trouble. The knight is, I'm literally threatening g4 right away and trapping the knight, which is not a good thing. So my opponent would have to waste a tempo playing g6, and then there's going to be some problems on his king side with me being able to play something like getting my queen over there, getting my knights over there, getting all my pieces into the game. And I just thought my position was already starting to do good, so I played bishop e5 after some thought, and it's a pretty decent move. Actually, there's bishop to b1 here, which is not a move I considered, because after knight takes f4, e takes f4, and let's say, I don't know, let's say knight of 6. I'm able to play moves like c5, lock down my opponent. I'm going to get queen to c2 and get some sort of attack here in the future, which is going to be pretty cool. Instead, after knight h5, bishop to e5, and my opponent takes my bishop. And now I have the good like board knowledge of which piece to take back with, and somehow d takes e5 is not the best move here. Somehow d takes e5 is not the best move here. Give like honestly, give a grandmaster like 10 choices here. I feel like he plays d takes e5 like more like twice as much as he plays knight takes e5, just because d takes e5 makes more sense, because you're simply threatening to trap the knight with g4, and it just seems really natural because you force black to make some concessions. But somehow knight takes e5 is actually the best move here, because I guess the knight is just a really good pressurer. I don't really know. Maybe I'm attacking the knight, but okay, after knight f6, like, really this is what I have to go for, and c5, this is what the computer wants. I get it, right? But like, I thought that the whole point was to make an attack, not to just have a positional advantage. Instead, d takes e5 is what I chose. Not the best move, but still pretty good. And my opponent immediately loses the game with the move g5. And here, without a second thought, I play the top engine move. g5. The point of g5 is that he wants knight g7, and I can't play g4 anymore. Probably g4 isn't that bad of a move, actually. Knight g7 is still really good for white. But instead of that, I just thought, well, why are you doing this? Now I can just like open up your king, right? And discovered attack, knight takes g5. I'm winning the knight, and I'm gonna win the game. Somehow this is not actually all I thought it was, and I probably should have taken a second to calculate. However, this is the best move. I didn't realize why, and this is a pretty brilliant move. Like, if I was able to figure out why this was the best move, honestly, I would have been like very happy with myself. But this is not very good for me. This is kind of like an accidental brilliant, because the reason why this is so hard to play is that after bishop takes g5, queen takes h5, my opponent has d takes c4, and this is just a skewer. This is just a plain old skewer. And I thought that, oh no, this is bad. I didn't see this. I'm probably going to lose this game now. And I thought, okay, I have to go all in on one idea. However, this is completely winning. This is completely winning for white. There's like a million moves here. If I just find the correct idea. One, I can either bring the rook in right away. I go rook to c4. I'm zipping my rook over here. I'm like basically mating my opponent. That I can see. Right? For example, rook takes c4, queen takes here, and then the top engine move is h4, right? And after like bishop goes back, rook to g4 is a crushing move where my opponent's probably getting mated. I can understand that. However, I didn't play it in the game. The other idea is that I have to bring my bishop back and make sure that this is what the piece that my opponent takes, because now rook c4 is pretty decent, and this light squared bishop is very strong. I thought that rook c4 wasn't very good here, because after queen takes bishop and the rook moves over here, I thought that my opponent could come back with his queen over to this square, trade off my queen. I didn't really see that I had that much of an attack, but I guess that the move h4 first would have helped there, but whatever, you know. So I have to figure out something better, and I'm like, oh man, probably gonna lose this game. Do I think that the bishop is better or the knight is better? I think that the knight is better, actually, because I can't really let my opponent like off the hook. My bishop isn't really doing anything on this diagonal. Yeah, it's an extra piece in the attack, but I feel like the knight is going to be good to like get up into these dark squares and do some good stuff. So the move that I ended up playing was bishop to h7 check, which is just not correct. It's just not what I have to do. I have to be a little faster. But the point is that, okay, I'm losing the bishop anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my opponent doesn't get their queen onto this diagonal immediately. I have some immediate pressure on this dark squared bishop, and I'm able to do some good stuff. However, here, my opponent can just immediately equalize the game after bishop to e7, and this would probably be lost for me. But my opponent doesn't do that because they're not very good at chess, and instead, they think for a while, and they try to find a decent plan, because of course they have to. Otherwise they're just going to like get checkmated here. My next moves are rook takes c4, maybe h4, bring my rook over through this move or even this move. And I mean, like, visually speaking, the attack is pretty strong for white, and this is tricky. Even f4 is on the cards here, right? So my opponent thinks for a while and plays the second best move. Bishop e7 is the best move, like I said, but he plays f5, and now I'm in a little bit of a pickle. f5 is saying, okay, at the end of the day, you can en passant me, but what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to recapture with my dark sword bishop. I don't think that you have that much attack on my king, and I think that I'm doing pretty well there. Okay, right, that's decent. The other idea is, if I play more accurately, if I bring a rook to the d file, for example, this is my other idea, going like rook d1 and like just attacking the queen. But the issue with this move is that I thought, okay, if I do that, I'm never going to be able to open up this position anymore because I need this king exposed. And if I don't open up the position right away, like, of course, en passant only works for one turn. So I really didn't think that I could play a rook to the d file. In fact, rook cd1 is the best move, and this would actually give white decent chances. Rook fd1 is not a good move because there are lines where he can open up this file and force me to trade queens. But either way, I take on f6. And this is not a good move. This is not a good move. Point is, of course, after bishop takes f6, now I'm arguing, okay, your king's really exposed. You have some weak pawns here that I might be able to get rid of. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm going to have some fun in this position, and I'm going to be able to like win some material or checkmate you. And I think that I have chances. I have chances here, which is why I played rook fd1. My opponent goes queen e7, and I just take on c4, and I'm arguing that now, okay, well, I am not down. I'm only down like two points of material now. I have that pawn, and like it feels like your other pawns are gonna fall. Not to mention that your bishop is a little bit stuck. I have moves like f4, h4, go after the king immediately, bring my other rook over, and like it can spiral out of control pretty quickly, right? It can we can have some fun here. Unfortunately, though, we can't. If my opponent just does some normal stuff, like he can even take on b2. This is winning. This is completely winning. Very scary, but it's completely winning. Bishop g7 is an easy move to play, where you just defend this pawn and it's basically game over for white because you're threatening this. That would be a nice move too, but after all this, my opponent goes a little bit crazy and plays the move b5 after some thought, and b5 is just insane. He really thinks, what this tells me is that he really thinks that his bishop is terrible on c8 and needs to get this active diagonal or do something, because otherwise he's just going to lose, which I understand. I've been like scared like that before, but this is just bad. This is just not good, because this allows me, basically whenever the bishop moves, this allows me to get to this rank easier, right? And I really want to rook on that rank because I want to checkmate my opponent, right? So I think for a little bit, but I play the best move. I play rook takes c6. And the point is, okay, well, after bishop b7, right, he's threatening this. And I'm sure this is what he missed. I'm sure that he missed what I played here after this move, because this is scary, right? I can't go knight c4 going for this this pin on the queen, because he just takes my rook and then defends this, right? But now I have rook cd6 and I'm threatening this. However, this is still not good for white. Bishop takes e4, rook d7, let's say rook a7 takes. This is not a good position for white, just because white is down too much material. Like, black has enough for the queen, which is disappointing, but luckily my opponent didn't go into this line. And instead, what they did, first of all, let's go with what I thought first. I thought that my opponent was going to play this move, bishop to d5, and I did not see a move here. I did not see a single move for if I can say words, for white, because, like, okay, I sacked the rook, obviously I have to. ed5, queen f5. I thought, okay, this position, I don't know, man. I didn't see this move. I didn't see this move over the board. Oh, in the game, but yeah, that is clearly the best move. I probably should have spotted that. I didn't see that move, but you know, it happens to the best of us. Happens to the worst of us too. Not saying I'm the best of us, but you know, maybe I could have found that. Maybe I could have found that. Probably could have found that if I was better at chess. But either way, that doesn't happen. Instead, I'm bad at chess, and I was very, very much panicking on what to do there. I would have gone down the line where I would have found it, but I was terrified, and my opponent plays probably the worst move in the position. The best move is obvious. The best move was rook a8. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. The point is that after rook a to d8, this rook stays defending the bishop, so then I don't have any like tricks with that in the future. Here you just take back with the queen. Like this is still correct, and wait a second. How is this not winning actually? Oh right, I'm stupid. Okay. No. What else is new? But yeah, this would be good because of course now this rook is defending this, and he doesn't get any like interesting like deflection tactics. But the move that he played, he brings the wrong rook. He goes rook fd8, and the eval bar shoots up, giving white just a massive advantage. And I already knew the best moves. I saw both of them before the game, before this move happened. I thought, okay, rook d7 is a move that I can play. I'm threatening the queen. I'm pinning the queen against the king. There's nothing he can do. If takes, I can take back with the rook. He takes with the queen, and then I take the bishop, and then I fork him, and I'm up a queen for a rook. Okay, that's a line. I'll just put that on the board. Takes, free rook. No, it's not because of this, and then we are winning the game. But what I didn't like about this, during the game is I thought that I didn't really know if this was enough material. Like I thought that my opponent could probably play king g8. Thought my opponent could probably play king g8. I have to take. He takes here. I go queen takes d1. He takes on e7, and I wasn't really entirely sure this was enough material. This might not be the line that I actually calculated. What was the line that I actually calculated? Sorry. I'm not cutting that out because that's pretty obvious that's what's going to happen. What was the line that I calculated here? Rook d7. Oh, right. Yeah. Bishop takes e4. I was unsure about this, and I didn't really see that this was that good because queen f7, I thought, okay, king h8, he's threatening a checkmate here. And I didn't really realize what I was supposed to do. I thought this was too much material. If I trade off the rook, he's still threatening a checkmate, so I thought this was bad. But actually, the move I missed here is f3, right? I can't take this because of back rank mate, right? So actually, this is move f3 is what I missed, and I would be completely winning. But because, of course, queen is much better than bishop and rook, and both bishops are hanging. So that would be really, really good for me, but I didn't see that. And instead, I play the second best move, which is the move knight takes f6. And here in this line, this is a little bit easier to play because after knight takes f6, queen takes f6, I simply have the move rook to d7 check, hitting the queen, hitting the king, hitting the bishop, and my queen is nicely defending my rook over on that side of the board. So this is just a very, very easy win. My opponent goes king h8, I go rook takes b7, my opponent takes here, I go queen takes here, and I thought my opponent was going to take on b2, I was going to play a4. Okay, maybe I wasn't gonna play a4. No, I don't think I would have seen this. Rook c8. No. Okay, it's a draw. Okay, it's a draw. I'm okay. But I thought rook a4 was pretty decent. A4 was pretty decent because of course you can't take due to this pin, and if he pushes, now I get like h3 for example, and I'm gonna be able to come over here. But I guess I just have to play h3 immediately. Why is this so good, actually? Wait a second. Queen takes b2, a4, rook c8. Peter thought this was winning. I thought rook d7, but rook c1 is just game over, right? Oh, I have simple rook c7. Rook takes c7, queen d8, here. And then I guess this is just equal because queen's on the board even though white is up a pawn. Okay, sure, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Either way, rook f8 is what he did. I threatening a checkmate on f2, and then you have the simple puzzle rush checkmate with check, queen takes, and rook with a mate. So I have to defend that. I find the best way of defending that, queen to c2, defending this, and threatening a checkmate with my rook over here. It's a very, very nice move. And yeah, here my opponent just plays this move, queen to f5. And yeah, a queen trade is lost for black. A queen trade is pretty easily lost for black, and my opponent knows that. So after a queen takes f5, and my opponent recaptures with e takes f5, my opponent resigns the game, which is very, very nice of him. Very, very nice of him to do. And I'm up back to 22-22. A rating that I have seen many, many times, because of course I am bad and I lose a lot of chess games. Either way, that's all I've got for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found this entertaining, instructive, all the above. A little bit of a shorter video today because I didn't really have many good games to work on. This was like the best I had. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found this entertaining, instructive, all the above. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, to learn what the YouTubers tell you to do. And yeah, that's it. Good evening and good night.